Welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. And just for Facebook purposes, I do not own the rights to this music.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
All right, and good evening. Welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. I have a couple of guests with me. I have Dan Leonard, who is Giants and Lions fan. I got somebody else saying, oh, it's Andrew Merklinger saying Detroit versus everybody. And I have Dave Harris of Let's Talk Sports, a Jets fan. Dan, go ahead and make your announcement.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to join you today. Jeremy will be co-hosting my Thursday night football post-game show every Thursday, in fact, on Let's Talk Sports.
Yep. After every Thursday night football game, we will be doing a post-game show with analysts and also who's hot, who's not, and what everything else that goes on with it. And tomorrow night's game is the Bills versus Rams, which is one of my subjects tonight, and I will talk about. That being said, I got a couple comments to get to. And Dan, give a quick synopsis about your New York Jets.
Well, where do you start with the Jets? The trick to be a Jets fan is don't get too high or too low, and today is a prime example of that in Zach Wilson being out for probably the first month. So, yeah, that said, I don't think it actually hurts their chances in the first month because they may actually stand a better chance against, besides playing against with Joe Flacco than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that was some bad news you got there.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Well, is it that bad? They got aging Joe Flacco.
You have aging Joe Flacco, but you know what? At least you know what you're going to get with him. You got Breece Hall and Michael Carter at running back. Both of them are solid. You got a live for Denzel Mims, Garrett Wilson, CJ Uzama, one of the better put together O-lines this offseason. That defense is great. Sauce Gardner, man, there's nothing but hope right there.
Lots of hope. And don't forget, is it Jermaine Johnson they got too?
A chance in that division.
With Jermaine Johnson as well, right?
Yep.
All right. I got a few comments to get to. So, Dan, if you want to plug Let's Talk Sports, go right ahead real quick, and then I'll do the comments.
Basically, what sport don't we talk about? NFL, NBA, NHL, soccer, cricket, you name it.
I think the only sport you guys don't talk about is professional billiards.
Well, yeah, that's a fair assumption, yeah.
I've seen cricket, I've seen baseball, tennis, golf, hockey, football, baseball. I mean, you cover the main four ones, plus a lot of the ones that nobody else would touch.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Our main aim is just have fun, talking sports, welcome everyone, and yeah, that's pretty much our aim, and just connecting with different content creators and bringing them on the channel.
I think it's great. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. Have a great evening. And I am going to get to the comments now.
Yeah, thanks.
Brian Roy comes in and says, hello, guys. Crazy Ken Ballrick says the same thing. Hello, guys. Big Dan Davis. What's up, Smokin' Jeremy B? I am just jacked and excited for the Lions-Eagles game tailgate Sunday that it seems like the days are yeah, they're going by slow for me, buddy. You can't get here fast enough. Thursday's game tomorrow night. Yep, after the game tomorrow night on Let's Talk Sports Network, I will be co-hosting the post-game show with Tanner D of the Sports Perfumes and Carlos Chavez, who also is a Jets podcaster. So the three of us are going to be talking about Bills Rams.
Cool.
Stephen King comes in and says, hello all. Keegan Eckerd. Now that we have two more New York fans on, things are going to get hilarious tonight. Well, Dan has been... There he is. Mr. Leonard's back, but Dan Dave Harris had to leave. He's been doing this ever since he started going through his chemotherapy, and he's recovering. So, and he's done a lot of podcasts today, like 8 of them on different sports and subjects. So he had to bow out because he needs to get his rest. Plus, he lives in the UK. So it's
Makes
midnight
sense.
there. Or later. And Stephen Bauer says, greetings from Flint Down. That being said, let's get right into it. Now that I got Andrew, another Lions fan, and we got Dan, the Giants and Leonard's fan. Number one, currently I'm at 157 subscribers, so please go over to YouTube, subscribe, like, and share with every Lions page you're a part of. And as always, it's FTP Wednesday. We don't need a day for it. It just sounds good to say it. Put it in the comments.
It's FTP 365 days a year, let's be honest.
And 366 on leap year. Dawson Knox gets his extension with $31.5 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. Justified or not? Andrew?
It's justified. He's a good tight end. He's earned his money. He's shown that he can be depended on when he's on the field. I think he's earned every penny of that $31.5 million. He's going to be a great tight end, and he's going to be a part of that Bills offense for the future. So, yeah, I approve.
Gotcha. Dan Leonard?
I don't disagree. I like Dawson Knox a lot, actually. Do I think he can stay healthy? That's a different question entirely. But you know what? Good for him with the money.
Alrighty. I got a couple comments that came in after that subject. Mr. Scotty the Bear. What up, everyone? Can't wait until Sunday. I'll be there screaming my head off. Go Lions, one pride. Absolutely, Mr. Scotty the Bear. Good to see you. And Stephen King comes in. FTP indeed. And Keegan Eckert says, I'm down. Can somebody read that for me? I have my glasses broke.
Keegan,
it's been a while.
Since the game has been sold out, and FTP is not an any day. It's 24/7.
That's right.
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. All right, on to the next subject. Oh, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Uh-oh. Oh, Dan, you're breaking up bad. Your connection's getting spotty.
Yeah, my connection was spotty too for a little bit. It's fine now.
All right. Lamar gave a deadline of Friday for his extension. GM says they are using the 5th-year option on him, which means technically, and it's because Lamar said he wants to focus on this season, and Friday is the last practice before they have their game on Sunday. That being said, whether they get the deal or done or not, they got another year of rookie contract to use with the 5th-year option from him being a first-round pick. Do you agree that they should give him a bag, or should they wait the year?
It's hard to say because he's shown that he can be depended on. He's shown that his record on the field is justified that he is a winning quarterback. He might not be a quarterback per se, but his record is winning. He wins games. He can help you and makes the team better. So you want to give him what he's earned. And you don't want to risk him getting hurt.
It's like you got muted all of a sudden, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying that you don't want to risk him getting hurt. You don't want to, go without paying him and him getting hurt, and then he's frustrated because he played when he could have gotten paid when he was supposed to get paid.
He won't get that money for 2 years is what I'm trying to tell you, no matter what.
Oh, okay. Yes, but
because they're going to use the 5th-year option. They could, if they do it now and he gets hurt, they're locked in on him already. Do you see what I'm saying?
True.
That's why they're going to wait a year, because he just came off of a major injury.
True.
That's what I see happening. Dan, what do you think?
On their part. It's horrible on their part because he's going to hold a grudge with them after this.
I don't think he's going to hold a grudge because he already said my focus is on the season no matter what.
Quarterback.
But in the future, yes, I would definitely give Lamar Jackson what he deserves if I'm the Ravens. He's
okay.
It.
Does he deserve as much as Russell Wilson, who's won a Super Bowl with his team?
He deserves more. He's younger. He's got more life left in him. And he sure
I believe he deserves more than he deserves more than Kyler Murray, but I don't think he deserves as much as Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
No, he doesn't deserve more than Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, but he deserves to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks, but he shouldn't be the highest.
And I think the Cleveland way overpaid for Watson because he sat a year and a half before he ever touched the field, and now he's suspended another 11 games. So it's going to be 2 years before he touches a football.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have touched him as first, he wouldn't be suspended for that long.
All right, here we go. I feel like an idiot, LOL. What team does Dawson play for? He plays for the Bills with Josh Allen. And Steve Bauer agrees with me and wait a year. Steve Bauer also says, don't give him a bag yet. And, like I said, that bag's going to be extended out past next year anyways. It's not happening next year because they already said they're going to use the 5th-year option on him. So that means it's going to be 2 years before that bag hits.
So let me ask you this, Jeremy. Sorry, Dan.
Look,
let me ask you this, Jeremy. 2 years down the road, how much will the cap go up?
Who knows? I don't know. It varies every year. It depends upon the television contracts and everything else. But I'm trying to keep up with the comments. This is the comment time. So I was trying to do it between subjects because I let everybody talk. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm skeptical about the Eagles game. If the Lions keep making plays in the game, I'll be very excited. But I don't think that'll win. I will definitely be happy if they do win. You're not the only one. I say that too, but I've got subjects about the Eagles game later. Right now, this is NFL Roundtable Talk. I wish my other fans were on, but for some reason, they can't seem to connect. They're having spotty internet issues. Good move on the 5th-year option on Lamar. I absolutely agree too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and let's see. This looks like Mike Crabtree's back. He'll be in just a second. Looks like his internet's being a little slow. There it is. There he is. I'll catch up with you in just a minute, Mike. I'm going to take care of these comments real quick. You want to read this one because it's a lot for me, Dan?
Yep. Wait a year. This is a prove it year. If he can pass the ball without the receivers at left, then you know how well he is and if it is worth a big bang. You know what? You're not wrong there. But look what happens last time the Ravens tried to hold out on paying a quarterback, and Joe Flacco went and won the Super Bowl and took that huge contract and sucked.
John Robinson says, good evening, Smokin' Jay. Killer Cook says, JB. And he also says, what's up, Dan?
What's up, Cook?
Okay, Mike, this was Mr. Crabtree. This is a topic right up your alley. I gave my opinion on it and what I think is going to happen. With Lamar given the deadline is Friday, they already said, the GM said in an interview earlier in the week, they're going to exercise the 5th-year option, which is going to move that extension money out another year. What do you think about the whole extension thing?
I think the extension thing is a smart thing because it'll help see him develop for a whole nother year for the Ravens to determine how much he's worth.
You think they should wait a year to do that contract? Wait till the offseason then?
Yes, but I also think Lamar should get an agent because you've had this already taken care of.
I agree. If he had an agent, this deal would have already been done. But the fact he represents himself with his mom is why they're able to bully him a little bit and keep him where he's at.
No, I know.
Okay, what does my dad say here?
Oh, hang on, let me get right here. The game that JB is taking will let us see Hutchinson get 3 more sacks.
Well, let's see us Hutchinson or more sacks.
Well, against that O-line, if he gets 2, I'll be happy. That's one of the best O-lines in the league on paper.
Okay.
The Eagles. I'm not wrong in feeling that way. That's one of the best O-lines in the league on paper. And then J.C. Day comes in, says, what's up, fellas? Nice to see you, J.C.
Shit, if he gets one sack against that offensive line, it's a good. If he gets 1 sack against that offensive line, it's a good day.
No, I said it. I'm super excited if he gets 2. That's what I was saying. If he gets 2 against that O-line, that's one hell of a day.
Oh, absolutely. I'm also saying that on paper, that offensive line is that good. If he gets 1, it's a good day.
But I will say, their only veteran on there. Who is that? It's not Jason Peters because he's with the Cowboys now. Who's the guy at the right tackle that they still got?
Landon Johnson.
He said, on paper, we are fantastic, but we have to prove it on the field. We haven't played 1 season together with this O-line as is, and there may be some growing pains. And he's not wrong. We've all seen it where somebody has this great O-line on paper, and then they play bad to start their games.
That's the story of the 2008 Ravens.
Absolutely. I didn't even want to say it. And then Ken Baldrick says, oh, yeah, we are going to the Seahawks game. It may not be the seats we were talking about, but we are going to the game. I've got that under lock, Dad. Yeah, I can't wait to see Hutchins in that game against that O-line. They should get 3 sacks. And then John Robinson has a comment here that's awfully long-winded, and I can't really read it. There we go.
You want me to read it, JB?
Yes, please.
Okay. What will Lions do if Vitai's replacement plays extremely well? Vitai would be very costly backup when he comes back.
They're going to do exactly what they did the last time his backup played very well. They're going to let Vaitai play because last year Vaitai was out a game. Tommy Kramer came in, did very well in his stead, gave up no sacks, had 1 penalty. Last year, Vaitai in his 16 games played had 4 penalties and 0 sacks given up. So he is the starter. Killer Cook says it's definitely top 3. Oh, we got Matt in here. Can you talk, Matt? Oh, he's still having issues.
Come on.
John Robinson. What does that say?
Mhm. Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson. Yep. Okay.
Lane Johnson.
2 for Hutchinson and 2 for Harris. It would be
Mr.
wonderful if that happens. If we get one each against that O-line, that tells us how good the D-line is. If we get 2 or more, our D-line is fantastic from each of them.
Exactly.
And what does he say about the center there? What's that name? I can't read it.
Kelsey.
Kelsey. Yep.
Kelsey.
Yeah, that's the other one. But Lane Johnson is the one I was thinking of. That's Travis Kelsey's family, right?
Yes. Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Killa Cook says, Hutch versus the Seahawks. Hutch will have a field day. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, and he says, that's the game. I was saying we'll see him with 3 or more sacks. He's in the Seahawks game. You're probably not wrong.
Well, if Hutch doesn't have 2 sacks in the Seahawks game, you shouldn't have took him number 2 overall because there's a problem at that point.
Right. Well, the only way they don't is if they triple team him and Charles Harris gets the 3 sacks. I'm not wrong.
No,
Steve
you're
Bauer. I see they were practicing with Sewell at guard. Yes, because Kramer was out for some type of little soreness injury. It's nothing major. They just moved him into the rotation to keep it going because we had more tackles than on the roster than we had guards. And Ragnow was in limited practice because it was a rest day for him.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
You don't have to. Think about it. He just came off of that injury and surgery last year. They're not going to push him hard in practice.
Oh, yeah. To let you know, Marcus Peters had his first practice today.
Okay, what was that again there, Meg?
Marcus Peters had his first full practice today.
Oh, good for him. I'm glad he made it back because it was looking like he might not.
They've been giving him like your guy. They give him days off to rest his soreness. They give him half-day practices. And I remember I got that today. He completed all practice with the whole entire team for the first time since his injury.
That's a good thing, though. That means he's almost in game shape.
I still give him 2 to 3 weeks prior and see how he goes up and builds. I don't want to rush him into anything.
All right. And the next topic, or next comment is for Keegan Eckert. Dan, you got this, or do you need Andrew? Okay, he's got it.
Sorry, JB, for the long comment, but with some of these receivers who want big money, do you think that Lamar is going to act like these receivers and be greedy when he wants a contract?
He wants to be paid. Kyler Murray got paid. That's why he's doing it. If Kyler Murray wouldn't have got his contract before his 5th-year option was taken, he wouldn't even be doing this right now. And I get it because he's been an MVP. I think Kyler Murray is way overpaid for what he's accomplished in the league. That's just my opinion. And in Cody Cards, if you're watching, sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't think Kyler deserved that much money at all. He might have. I don't even think he deserved Jared Goff money.
Oh, absolutely not.
All right. Detroit Lions have moved up 2 spots on the power rankings. They have moved from 27th to 25th, and the Giants have moved down 3 to 29th. Don't do it. I didn't do it. So the power rankings have the Ravens just outside of the top 10 at 13 right now. Number 1 is the Buffalo Bills. Number 2 was the Buccaneers. Number 3 was the Packers. Number 4 was the Rams. Number 5 was the Bengals. Number 6 Kansas City numbers. I don't know why they had the Chargers at 9, but they came up a long way because last year they were 21st. So what does everybody think about the Lions moving up to?
That's good.
It's, oh, you want me to go first, or you want
Well, Mike went. He said it's good. Dan, what do you think?
That power rankings are bullshit. To drop my Giants 2.5 to freaking Packers at 3? Really? Whoever made that's a fool.
Wait. Is this the power rankings that they had the Eagles in the top 10?
No, the Eagles
Eagles
were
are-
actually are at 14. Eagles are at 14 right now. So no, not that one. This is NFL Network is what I went off of.
NFL Network needs to put the meth pipe down because the Eagles deserve a top 10 spot with that O-line, and they got a solid defense. It's not the best defense, but they got a solid defense.
All right. John Robinson has a nice long-winded comment. But Andrew, what do you think about Detroit moving up too, despite having a mediocre preseason overall?
shows promise. It shows that we're making some progress. That's what it tells me.
All right. John Robinson has a comment. Somebody want to get that for me? And I will be right
Let's
back.
get some likes for the spare time for us after working long, hard hours at his job. Yes, like, subscribe, and share the page. Let's go. Get this thing up to 200 for him.
I think Jamie would appreciate this if I tell everybody this Sunday, I believe, I don't know if it changed, but I believe Jeremy Bolwick is going to be streaming the game this Sunday. So if you guys want to watch the Lions, come out this Sunday on Jeremy's channel and you can see the Lions game. He won't have the commentators playing, but he will have his commentating while the game is streaming.
That may be wrong, though, because...
Well, last time I asked him,
he's planning to go to the game, so I don't know how he's going to do.
Oh, I thought he said he was streaming the game.
Earlier.
If he's not streaming the game, my bad. I got that one again. Because he told me he was streaming it. That's why I was asking.
I planned on it, but now that there's standing room tickets and it's $50 and I'm already going to be there at Eastern Market for the pregame show, I'm going to the game, which means no live stream this weekend.
Okay. Well, week 2 live stream?
Yes, and any game that I'm going to be in attendance for, I will make sure everybody knows by Wednesday. That way they know that they don't have to worry about watching for my live stream because that's only fair to my fans.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they have a thing about videotaping games at the game. All right, and Keegan Ecker has one. Sorry, but that... What's that going?
Sorry, Dan, but that's funny. The Giants moved down. I bet Seattle and the Jags are below also.
Actually, believe it or not, they got the Jags ranked above us, but Seattle is below us, Houston is below us, Giants are below us, the Jets are below us, and there was one more. I mean, well, there's like a total of 7 teams below us, which I think it's funny that there's 7 teams worse than the Lions in power rankings.
It tells me there's improvement.
The Browns are still ranked above for some god-awful reason, even though they don't have a QB that's going to play until week 13.
They're going to be 0-11.
Yep. I believe Dan's back. There he is. Are you having connectivity issues out there, my friend? Did your Wi-Fi extender poop out on you again?
No, it was still hooked up to the Wi-Fi extender. The internet was just cutting in and out.
Yeah, I see it.
Comcast.
You got rain going on there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. Eagles versus Lions are sold out. It is the first time a non-Thanksgiving game has sold out since 2017. That tells you that the hype is real in Detroit, that the fans are buying tickets. What do you guys got to say about that? Standing room tickets are all that's being sold right now.
Are we going clockwise or are we going down?
Yeah, go and start with you, Andrew, this time.
Okay. I think that it shows that Dan Campbell has the fans believing again. That's what it tells me. We finally have a coach and a offense front office that's telling the fans, "Hey, we want to win. We want to win for you guys," and the fans are starting to believe it. So that tells me that, hey, Lion fans are starting to have hope again, and that's what we want.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Dan?
I agree completely with that. You know what? We all know that on paper they might not be the best, but Campbell and that regime there has got people at least believing they can win. You got the team to buy in, so the fans are going to buy in. For the first time in, 10 years, there's actually really hope of a decent team.
Exactly.
It's that Kool-Aid.
Mike?
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah. Mike, how do you feel about that news about the Lions?
Actually, I talked to my dad about this, and I was using my dad's answer to it. My dad said the culture of the Lions being on Hard Knocks and seeing how the coaches are around them, how they're pressing these players, how they're motivating, seeing how they want to get on the field and terrorize other teams to win. I believe, but this is my dad's words, not mine. He says he believes that motivates more than just the fans coming to the game. That motivates the fans on thinking this is a team that can lead to the playoffs, a team that can move up and grow over years.
Oh, fantastic. I think it's great. And I think the fans are starting to take their Kool-Aid by the gallon jug. That's what it shows. And it's all because of the hype behind the Hard Knocks, how well this coaching staff looks on that show. It's got a lot of people to buy in when they weren't buying in. That being said, all right. I'm going to have you read this comment real quick, and I'm going to get us another guess.
The hype is real for the Lions. It's about damn time we got our spotlight since forever.
Absolutely. The last time we had this type of spotlight, Barry was playing. We almost got this type of spotlight in the 2015 season after we made it to the playoffs and lost to Dallas. But Caldwell somewhere lost the team, and the defense didn't play as well, and it was a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Stephen King also has a comment here.
I'm so pumped to watch the Lions game.
Andrew, let Dan do it. Dan, go ahead. I'm sorry. Andrew likes to pipe.
It's okay, buddy. That sounded really horrible the way you just said that, but besides that, I'm so pumped to watch the Lions game coached by Campbell this year, going week 2 against Washington. You know what? That should be a win. That really should. Because you're probably going to get bad Carson Wentz. The running game, because Gibson's horrible there. And the only running back that had any potential got shot up like Swiss cheese.
Age already.
All right.
And also,
we got some new guests in here tonight. This is JC Day and his buddy Batista, I believe. Correct?
Strilla.
Strilla. Got it. Okay. I don't have my glasses and my reading's not quite good unless I got the thing right in front of my face, and I don't do that when I'm on camera.
I got you.
So we were talking about the Lions moved up 2 in the power rankings from 27th to 25th. It shows that the hype is real after Hard Knocks, and the fact that they sold out their first non-Thanksgiving game since 2017.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a typical Lions fan, so I'll tell you this. I love what everything's going on. I love the way the direction of the organization is going. I like Dan Campbell. I like the fact that he's got good coaches around him. I like the fact that that the owner she's investing. What I don't, I'm not going to believe it though until I actually see them do something. I gotta see it.
I've tried to stymie a little bit of that enthusiasm. I put a window of wins on the team because I feel like this team is twice as talented as what we had last year. And with that 3 wins and 1 tie, that's 3.5. I said, double that and make it the floor. 7 should be the floor. And the ceiling, if everything goes right, and that's if everything goes right, a possibility of maybe 10 wins. That's my window of win opportunity. But like I said, that means everything went right. Everything went perfect. The defense is doing what they're supposed to do, and the offense is lighting it up like everybody expects them to. That is why I said that window of wins is where I have them at. More than likely, they're going to either be 8-9 or 9-8.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple of games I know they're not going to win.
You say that, but we have a couple of games where we say that every year, and somehow they win them. Did anybody expect us to beat Arizona last year? You tell me when that game came up and they were the number 1 seed in the NFC. What did everybody, and I mean every single sportscaster except for one on one of those pregame shows, picked Arizona to win?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you want to know who picked us? You want to know who picked us? And it was crazy. It was Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw always likes the Lions. That's like John Madden. He would have picked the Lions too if he was.
Well, if Barry Sanders is playing, yeah, John Madden would have picked
I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm about to get smacked by Arizona. I ain't gonna lie. I was one of those guys.
I thought I was one of them too. I picked Arizona.
I ain't gonna lie.
But the 2 weeks before that, though, I actually did pick the Lions against Minnesota because somebody here did a parlay and he had the Minnesota beating the Lions. And I said, that's a bad beat. And I said, that's a bad beat, brother.
You should have.
Should have, could have won.
Y'all game sold out. Okay. Hey, I will say this. I think the Detroit Lions are one of the underdog teams. I'll talk about that with my co-host, be sure all the time. They're one of the underdog teams. When you watch the Detroit Lions from last year, they competed in every single game, some of them 2-3 ball games which I did face. But
5.
We
had 5 of them. We had 5 of them. We were blowed out by double digits. But we had a total of 12 games decided by less than a touchdown.
Yeah, that's my point I'm getting to. Y'all competed. I didn't feel like y'all didn't have a lot of pieces to help y'all close out those games. Y'all was in every single game towards the end. Y'all just couldn't close it. I think this time with the new pieces y'all got from the draft, free agency, I think y'all doing a lot better. It's supposed to be a walk-out team. I don't know if you're going to win now, but I believe you'll be a walk-out team this year.
I think we have a chance to win against the Eagles if they do right and everything else. But I'm not calling for it. I think it's going to be a close game. I think they're going to cover the spread again, just like they did against every other good team last year. They covered the spread against every good team we played, except for Cincinnati and the 2 teams that we should have covered. The 2 teams we should have covered. Yeah, but at the time, everybody thought the Lions were winning that game. I was the one that said Philly was going to win. Ask Dan.
What?
About that last year when the Philly game, everybody else on that podcast is like, oh, you guys are going to smoke Philly. I was like, nope. That's the game where we have our big letdown.
Correct.
I said we might get beat by 30 because they run.
Damn,
I think
more than that.
Damn, you weren't the only one. I feel
I
it
know.
too.
I know, but I'm just saying I was the only one that said it was going to be a blowout. Because they were 1-5 at week 6, I think it was, because they didn't have their bye week yet, and we didn't have our bye week. They were having a very slow start season, which is why I like having them at week 1. Because the last 3 years, Philly starts out slow.
Yes.
Like they can't run the ball right.
For both teams, really good game for both teams.
Like I said, I just want to see competitiveness. I want to see what we saw against like LA Rams, against the Ravens. I want to see what we saw against Minnesota both times.
I should have won that game by the Ravens, by the way. The referee cheated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote an editorial about it. I'll send it to you guys later. You
That's
can check
BS.
it out.
Y'all should have won that game.
It is what it is.
You
can't.
You got a few comments to catch up on here real quick.
Go to kickers.
All right. What does it say? Dan will get though.
Dan will get this. I heard of Batista. Dave, is that you?
It's Bistrilla, right?
Bistrilla, yep.
Bistrilla. Okay.
He did say Batista.
I did say it the first time when I was talking on the show. I
said, for real? Where you at? Real quick.
I got to give a shout out to my Facebook page, the Motor City Kneecap Biters, because I have managed to get 2 parents of actual on the roster Detroit players. I got Derek Barnes Sr., and I also have Lakeisha Cephas, Quintez Cephas's mom, that follows my page now. So if you're watching, let's go. Get them guys going. And I would love to do an off-day podcast with just you two as guests to talk about the men behind the face mask, to get to know the person behind it, because there hasn't been a lot of in-depth stuff about Quintez or about Derek Barnes, and I would like to get to know more about how they were raised, what type of kids they were, how studious they were, where'd they get their work ethic from, that type of stuff. I think that would be a nice way to get my foot in the door other places.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I really like to talk with Derek Barnes.
I don't want to talk about that game. I don't want to relive that game again. I don't want to relive that game.
Hey, they said it best next week at the Thanksgiving Day game when they were talking about our teams playing on Thanksgiving, when they gave the gifts away and the Lions fan goes, "Ooh, a tie!" and the Pittsburgh goes,
"Hey, Kagan, that was Mason Rudolph's fault, and Pat Frymouth fumbled in the ball. Had that not happened, we'd have won that game. Or Ben was there, period, we'd have won."
Yeah, and also if the big burrito could have kicked any further than 31 yards, we'd have won that game.
Right.
It showed that nobody wanted to win that game.
Nobody wanted to win it.
I think the thing that pissed me off most about that game is after the season cuts, I know they got him back on the roster, but Patterson was kicking. I don't know why Seibert. I don't like Seibert. I don't know why they got Seibert.
I did a deep dive into Seibert's 6 years in the NFL now. This is his 6th season, right? The last 5 years. 90% of his misses have been between 30 and 45 yards. You know who that reminds me of? Matt Prater. Matt Prater can hit everything super close and could hit everything super far, but couldn't hit the stuff in between.
Where like Patterson, because he's not a strong kicker. But I'm like, okay, but he hasn't missed a kick. I don't think he's missed a kick.
He was 13 of 14. He missed the one, and it was 52 yards.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, give this guy a break. I mean, why don't you get the offense closer, and then we won't have to kick 52-yard field goals.
There you go. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
If we win 10, are we talking playoffs?
Yeah,
10,
in our division.
10
you can do it with 9. You can do it with 9.
Yeah, in the NFC, because it's weak after the Power 5 at the top, it's wide open for those bottom 4 spots at 9 or 10 wins. And it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's a probability. I'm saying it's a possibility. And I said the way we get to 10, and I've looked this, we have 8 games against below 500 teams. Those should be winnable games for a decent team, correct?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We have 4 toss-up games and 5 games that we probably shouldn't be in, but we're going to cover one of those because we do every year. Whether it's the Packers at home in week 18, and I'm going to tell you how we get there. Let's say we do our job. We lose one of those games that we shouldn't against those 8 bottom feeder teams. And I say bottom feeders because they're below 500. Right. Then we win 1 or 2 of those top-ups, the toss-up games. There's your 9, right? Let's say the Packers have the top seed in the NFC North wrapped up in week 18. They can't move up or down from where they're at, whether they win or lose, whether it's the 1 seed or the 3 seed or whatever. They're in that position where they can't move up and down, and we end up with exactly what we had last season. They play a half to keep their starters fresh. They bring out the backups, and we mop the floor with them. because God knows Jordan Love only specializes in one thing, and it's a bakery item: turnovers. Am I wrong in that assumption that that's how we get to 10?
No, you're not wrong.
I
mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's a probability.
If you look at
possibility
those rankings,
and probability.
If you look at those rankings, the majority of the teams we play are on the bottom of us.
No.
Right. You got the Jags. I mean, the Dolphins are right there in that mix between that 25 and 18, which means they even have them power ranked outside the playoffs. Correct?
Right.
You got, let's see, we don't play Houston, damn it, but we play the Jags. Yeah. And if anybody thinks that the Jags roster is better than Detroit's roster, they better look it over again, because they traded away Laviska Shenault. That wide receiver room looks less than ours now.
Yeah, he was a pretty good
receiver. We have a strong wide receiver room.
They had a very strong wide receiver room. Trading away Laviska Shenault made no sense to me. They're depending on Laquan. They're depending on Laquan Treadwell to have a resurgence. The guy that can't play more than 8 games.
He went to Carolina. Yeah. That was bad.
I mean, I think Carolina's going to whoop up on Cleveland. And speaking of which, that's the point of my podcast we're at. It is time to do the pick'em for the week. Yeah. All right. The game tomorrow night is Buffalo at LA. Who y'all got? Andrew?
I got the Bills. I just think that Josh Allen is going to come in clutch, and he's going to help the Bills win this tomorrow night.
Mike?
I got the Bills by 10.
And I'm going to tell you why I got who I got at the end of this, because it's going to be interesting. Be Stilla.
I have Buffalo by 3.
All right, JC Day?
Buffalo by 3.
Mr. Leonard? He looks like he's having issues. Oh, you got your mic muted, Dan. Now, he must be busy. I got Buffalo winning too. And the main reason why I'm changing it, normally I would not pick a team that travels 3 time zones because they lose 85% of the time. But LA Rams have 10 people on the not able to play this week, and the Bills have 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big number to overcome. And let's say Mr. Scotty the Bear say Bills win. Oh, I can't remember the list, but I looked at it. I was like, ooh, that's 10 players.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bills. Not always about who's out there. It's the first people that are out of LA. I know Van Jefferson's one of them. That's going to hurt Stafford's attack.
There's a couple of there's like 3 or 4 defensive guys out too, and one of their old linemen. And Stafford is still dealing with tendonitis too. If he gets killed, their season's done.
Oh, definitely.
Rams going to win
without Stafford
by 10 because. You want to finish that up for me, Andrew? Because I'm laughing too hard to even read it.
Because no Travarius White,
no T. White, and they got a rookie, and they got
rookie cornerbacks.
Oh, sorry.
And Allen Robinson. I mean, it's going to be a tight game. I think the defenses are playing, regardless who's playing. I think they're going to come to play. I just think Buffalo is just going to be a little bit more stronger than the Rams. The Rams are going to be coming off that Super Bowl high. And, they're going to be in their own place. They're going to be like, yeah, we're going to be able to win it here. Yeah, okay, no. Buffalo's coming here to take care of business. That's what they're coming to do.
And we got second place versus last place in the NFC South. New Orleans versus Atlanta. Who you got there, JC?
I got the Saints.
You got the Saints? All right.
The Saints.
Mike?
Saints.
Wow.
And that was Bistilla that said Saints about JC Day?
Saints.
Okay. And then if anybody, I got the Saints as well. because Atlanta's going to be trash. They are a dumpster fire right now. I mean, they got one wide receiver, one good tight end. Cordarrelle Patterson, I think, is questionable for the game because he's still dealing with some injury he picked up in the preseason. So I don't see how they can win this game. That being said, we go to Chicago, who have the 49ers coming into town. JC Day, you go first.
One more time. 49ers who?
49ers Chicago.
49ers Chicago.
Oh, 49ers.
Bastilla?
Yeah, I'm not going to be choosing Chicago.
Right, we know that.
Mike?
Niners.
Andrew?
Niners all the way. Come on now.
And right now they only have it as a 10-point favorite. That is my lock of the week. Take the 49ers. They're beating them by 30.
That's my lock of the week, too.
Might be 40.
Stephen King says, I got the Rams. Nemo Cramshaw said Rams. And say hey to the little guy for my dad there, because we saw him pop in. Saints, 49ers, 49ers, 49ers. Saints over Atlanta. Yeah, that's right. Next game. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. I'm going to go first this time. I'm taking Cincinnati. I understand Pittsburgh has the defense, but I'm not sold on that O-line, and it's going to be trouble because even a weaker defense might get sacks on Mitch Trubisky. He'll be running for his life, and I'm glad they started him over Kenny Pickett because why get your rookie cornerback killed his first year out there? Andrew?
I'm going to agree with you, JB. I got Cincinnati. Steelers might have a great defense, but the O-line is not that good, and Mitch Trubisky is a mediocre quarterback. So I got the Bengals winning.
Yep, so far everybody in the comments is agreeing. Mike? Who you got?
Can't hear him.
Oh, yeah, you got yourself muted, buddy. Yeah, I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself. Ooh.
Oh, no.
You're breaking up bad, buddy. Try it. What'd you say again? Was you saying Cincinnati or Pitt? Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to have to mute you. That's a bad breakup there. Next up, going around the horn. Oh, he popped out. There we go. So who do you got here, Steelers guy?
Oh, Cincinnati. I think it's a learning lesson. Cincinnati win this game. Learning lesson.
JC?
I said I got the Cincinnati.
Oh, you're JC. Okay, he's Bastilla. Okay, got it now. I got confuzzled.
Learning lesson. Learning lesson for us.
Yep. What do you got there, Bastilla?
I got upside of the week right here. I got Pittsburgh beating Cincinnati.
Woo! And Ravens God, what you got?
Cincinnati over Pittsburgh.
All right. I'm going to mute you until we get back to you because you got some connection issues going on there.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we got the Ravens at the Jets. JC?
Upset alert.
Uh-oh.
Joe Flacco wins that game by 3.
Oh, you got the Jets winning?
Upset alert.
Oh, man. What do you got there for Mike Crabtree?
Ravens blow out Jets 35-0.
That's possibility, though. Ain't lying. Though.
I knew that was going. JC Day?
Ain't lying.
Or Bastilla?
I got Baltimore winning that one.
Okay. Andrew?
Baltimore. But Jets have no chance.
I said Baltimore too.
And straight up, I'll tell you all now. If the Jets win this game, I'm coming back.
Oh yeah,
come all y'all. And getting all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Now, but Michael Crabtree probably right though. They probably get beat by like 35. I ain't gonna lie. But if the Jets win this game, oh God.
Yeah, you can come back and talk crap.
Oh God.
How's that?
Right.
I'm gonna get ready for hell. I'm gonna give you hell.
All right, we got Saxonville versus the
Jacksonville.
versus the Foreskins. I mean the football team, the Commanders. Yes.
Ain't Jacksonville no more. All them guys gone.
I know. I was making a joke. How about Crapsonville? Because Crapsonville does
There you go.
Crapsonville things in the draft.
Them guys ain't there no more. Them guys not out of there. They gone.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I think the Commanders are going to fall on their face because Carson Wentz is going to look like the head case he is. He's going to come out and look good for a quarter, then he's going to fall apart, then he's going to come back and fall apart again. Andrew?
I'm going to agree with you, JB. Upset alert. I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Same reason as you. Carson Wentz is going to do Carson Wentz things.
All right, be stilla.
Is it really an upset alert?
I don't think so.
Right.
Well,
That
this
real.
is terrible.
This is
Good.
I think that game is the toilet bowl of the week, right?
I think though Jacksonville will win that game just because they got more weapons and their defense is better. You Chase and the Young's not going to be playing, so yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
JC?
Jacksonville win this game, unfortunately. I agree with the Carson Wentz thing.
Oh, man, you are still breaking up bad. You got Jacksonville or Washington?
Yeah.
He popped back out. Okay. Next up on the list, we got Cleveland taking on the Carolina Mayfields. Let's go with B. Stilla first.
I got Carolina in that one.
All right. JC?
I got Carolina. Let's go, Baker.
Andrew?
Carolina.
I've got Carolina as well. And then we got the Indianapolis Colts taking on the hapless Texans. Andrew?
I got the Colts winning. I got the Colts.
All right.
Colts are the better team.
JC?
Colts.
And B. Stilla?
Yeah, the Colts.
I agree. Now we come to the game that I hate to even predict. The last 1 o'clock game on the schedule is Philly at Detroit. Be Stilla, it's you first.
I got Philly winning that.
JC?
Philly.
Andrew?
Come on now. Lions. Lions are going to win.
I say it's a revenge game for Campbell and company. Aaron Glenn buried the videotape. It was so bad on defense last year from the Philly game. We come back and we win it by a field goal. Detroit wins.
I like the hope. I like the hope.
I got to keep the hope alive a little bit. I take my Kool-Aid in small doses. My Mountain Dew, big doses.
That's Packer color. That's a Packer color.
Hey,
Yeah,
no,
really.
it's not. No, that's lime green. That ain't no Packer color.
It's
Packer
close.
colors are the same as waste management.
You stupid. You stupid. You stupid.
Close enough.
All
I don't
right.
hear about the Packers. I don't want to hear about ass ride. I don't want to hear about.
New York Giants at Tennessee. I'm taking the Titans. Andrew?
Titans.
JC Day?
Titans.
B. Stilla.
Yeah, you better hope to God it's the Titans. Ryan Tannehill's going to be replaced the first day.
Yeah, but it won't be by Malik Willis. He's QB3.
They might have to. Who's your QB2?
I don't know, but all I know is he was announced as QB3 after week 2 of the preseason.
You might have changed by then. Joe went for preseason.
No, they said he's going to be third on the depth chart.
I'm gonna take a look at that. All right.
Next up is Green Bay at Minnesota. We're going to start with B. Stilla. What you got?
Malik Willis number 2. Malik Willis number 2 now. They got on the third quarterback.
That's at Minnesota, right?
Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
Much as I hate both of these teams.
I know. It is an FTP day.
I don't know what to expect out of Minnesota, though. That's the thing. They're the
Exactly.
wild card in this division. I don't know how the coaching change is going to affect the players, how the offense is going to work.
This is my thing about their coaching staff. All 3 coaches came from teams where none of them called plays. The offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and the head coach never called a play from where they came from. They were all clipboard holders.
It's in Minnesota. The offense is not a stag point for Green Bay anymore, not this season.
And Dalvin Cook is already on the IR.
Oh, God. See, that's what I'm talking about. Green Bay. Because there's no way. No. Green Bay's going to win that game. Dalvin Cook is a – man, this is why I don't never get him in fantasy football because he's always hurt.
Right, I can't pick that man up. He's not trusted. I can't do it.
All right. JC, who you got?
But despite all that, I still got Minnesota winning that game. Kirk Cousins leading to that win.
All right.
What? You ain't going to get your guy? You say
he's still a bad man. He's still a bad man. But I think Kirk Cousins.
Bad man in regular season.
That's what I'm saying. He better in regular season. So is Kirk Cousins. So good.
All right. Andrew.
No way in heck I'm picking Green Bay. No way in heck I'm picking Green Bay. I'm picking Minnesota.
Can it end in a tie?
I was just going to say, I almost want to call for a tie because I hate both teams so much. But that being said, they switched from a 4-3 to a 3-4 and only addressed it with 2 players this offseason. So therefore, they got 9 square pegs and round holes with a guy that's never called a defense. I'm taking Green Bay.
Hey, Malik Lewis is number 2. They only got 2 quarterbacks. Lewis is number 2.
Is he now number 2? They must have cut the other guy then.
Yeah,
okay.
They don't have it. It's only 2 now.
Okay. I still don't think they'll start him because Vrabel didn't like the way he played all offseason. He was a read and run quarterback. Okay. Kansas City at Arizona. And I feel that it's going to be just like the last time we went to Arizona at week 1. They didn't play well. They got beat. It's happening again. Kansas City wins. Andrew?
Kansas City. You can never bet against Patty Mahomes.
JC
wins this game. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think KC win anyway.
Be Stilla?
Yeah, I'm the opposite of that. I think KC wins that game, but they win by 14. I just don't think Arizona's got not enough weapons defensively right now.
If D-Hop was playing, I would pick Arizona, but D-Hop's out for 6 games because he didn't know he took a PED.
I don't even know. Even with Hopkins playing, I don't even think they would beat him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we saw what happened. Because technically, the Ravens should have beat us by like 14. Because Marquise Brown, the guy they traded for, he dropped 2 wide open. One in the end zone, one where he had no one around him, and he'd have been gone.
Like 4 PDs.
I don't count that. That's player mess up. They ain't got nothing to do with what.
I shouldn't have lost at all.
Shouldn't have lost at all. Right.
I know we shouldn't have lost it all without the game played. I'm talking about if he would have did his job and caught the ball, which is why I don't expect him to do it in Arizona either. But that's another story. All right. Next game, we're going to start with B. Stilla. Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers.
I got the Chargers.
JC?
What was the team? What was the game?
Raiders versus Chargers.
Raiders. Ooh.
In LA.
I like that.
That's a good matchup.
That's a good one. I like that. I'm going to go with the Chargers, though.
Mm-hmm. Andrew?
I got the LA Chargers. The Chargers are going to win.
You got Bosa on one side, so Khalil Mack doesn't have to be Khalil Mack. He just has to take some pressure off that other side to make it so Bosa gets opened up. Chargers win. The Sunday night game.
Man, you ain't get that Paramount Plus?
You got Tampa Bay versus Dallas. And you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it. Tampa Bay wins. Andrew?
Man, I can never bet against Tom Brady. I'm picking Tampa Bay.
JC Day.
Tom Brady never lost to the Dallas Cowboys, 6-0 against them, and it'll continue 7-0 for the Bucs.
B. Stilla?
Yeah, I would concur with that. Tampa Bay.
And we got the revenge game. Russell Wilson versus his old team on Monday Night Football. Be still of Europe.
Man, Denver's gonna beat the crap out of Seattle. And it don't even make a difference who's a quarterback because, simply put, Seattle doesn't have the defense they used to have, and they don't have the quarterback they used to have. So they're not gonna be able to move it. He's gonna do good, but he's not gonna win the game.
Right. JC?
35-10 Broncos.
There you go.
Andrew?
Broncos are going to win. It's not even going to be a close game.
I have Denver beating them as well. I have them putting a butt whooping. I said 28-10. That way it just hits that 37.5 over.
They don't get their ass beat.
Yeah, it's going to be a minimum of a
The NFL know what they're
3-touchdown win.
doing.
I know.
The NFL know what they're doing.
And Joe Buck is calling the game.
Oh,
God.
I know. I'm when at the games that I do not attend for the Lions, I plan on streaming on Sundays with my own commentary, muting it because you have to mute everything. You cannot play anything or it's copyright infringement. All you can play is the actual gameplay. So I plan on doing that. I'm going to have guest announcers with me each week. I'm going to switch them out so everybody gets to do it. Could have about 3-4 announcers with me. That way we can color commentate and do R-rated because it's on YouTube and I'm an adult-rated channel. I like it because I want to be able to. I want to be able to. All right, yeah. It will be definitely better than Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who I affectionately nicknamed as White Jay-Z.
Stupid.
And just because I am an adult channel, I'll say it exactly how it's Joe fucking White Jay-Z. Yeah, the only thing worse than listening to them two is listening to Chris Collinsworth.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh God, that guy's got to go.
I'm so glad Al Michaels broke away from him.
So here's a guy.
Yeah, that one. So here's a guy.
Thank God that his son he's a broadcaster too, and he's nothing like his dad.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, my favorite announcers right now, for the people that don't know football, the best announcer that I like is Aqib Talib because he does very well about explaining what's going on the field to the people that are listening to him. The other guy I like is Tony Romo.
He's not bad.
I love the way he does it. I do.
If he played as well as he announced, man.
I know. You know what's funny is if you actually look at Tony Romo's stats, you look at Andrew Luck's, and you look at Matt Stafford's, and you just take away the win-loss records, you know what you see? The same quarterback. All the way across the board. Touchdown to interception ratio, interception rate. It's all basically the same. And about the same completion percentage. They're all between 66 and 67.2 for career. Mm-hmm. Granted, Matt Stafford did a lot by having that excellent season he was having before he got hurt in 2019. That raised his percentage points up a lot.
Hey, Jeremy, I think we all had the same picks.
Yeah. I think we pretty much did. You and I did, but they picked Philly. I said Lions win it on a close one. Last second field goal. Siebert has to kick a 63-yarder like he did in the Fan Fuss at the Family Fun Fest.
Oh God!
I did pick the upset too.
Yeah, we picked the same upset.
The Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh no, you picked that one. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, you picked the Cincinnati one. Going Pittsburgh.
AC got the Jets beating Baltimore.
Upset.
Whew, that's a rough one. Sorry, dude.
I just don't see it.
Oh, the Wi-Fi. That must be my buddy Mike Crabtree, the one that had to bounce out, or Dan Leonard, one of the two, because it says Facebook user. Also listening to Aqib Talib. What does he say that last part? Because my eyes
losing brain cells.
Hey, like I said, he's for beginning football fans. If you got a girlfriend that's never watched a game and she wants to watch a game with you, you want Aqib Talib doing the commentary because she'll actually almost understand the game of football after 2 times watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, how about the Peyton and Eli Manning Monday night thing? It's funny.
I never really tuned into it, really.
It's funny, but when they're actually doing the games, I kind of don't like it because they do too much of the joking with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool.
It's cool. It's nice to say they can do it. You know what I'm looking forward to is when a certain somebody finally retires and he goes to Fox.
Tom Brady.
Oh, I didn't want to say his name. And everybody says, "Oh, watch, they're not going to get the job done with Lamar this year." I said, the GM was just on ESPN radio 2 days ago, and he said whether they get the contract done or not doesn't matter because they're doing the 5th-year option on him. He's a first-round pick.
That pretty much tells you, right?
That pretty much tells me they're going to play hardball and make him play this year and do it in the offseason. That way it starts right after the 5th-year option's done.
What game besides the Lions game, JB, are you most looking forward to? The most interesting game besides the Lions game?
Watching Dallas lose to Tampa.
Well, I mean, hey, Cowboy fans, will never say they're going to lose. They're going to say that they're going to go 17-0 and they're going to win the Super Bowl.
What does Torrance Carter say here?
The man's name that does the U of M games. Where's the Cartiers?
Ooh. Yeah, he's pretty good. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Yeah, I know Jim Brandstetter was forever. I loved him on there.
I like Dan, though. Dan does a pretty good job.
Who was the number 1 QB in the Lamar draft class? Let's see.
Lamar?
That was
Baker Mayfield?
That was him, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it was Baker Mayfield.
It was Mayfield, yep. Because Mayfield got picked before Lamar, didn't he?
Yep.
What color Lamar in that one, too?
A lot of quarterbacks got picked.
And we got one more comment
Josh
here.
Rosen did.
Ugh.
They usually put, Brandon Gaudin. That's who it is, right?
Yeah.
I like Brandon Gaudin, but he annoys me.
Does Madden get video games now?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, go ahead and talk for a second. I got to hop off camera.
All right.
What do you want to talk about? All right. My name is John Collier, but I do go by the name of the Big Dog. Be sure over there. We do podcasting ourselves. It's called The Extra Point. We're on every Saturday at 4 p.m. on NFL Home Field Advantage group page that I also run. So if you guys like podcasts like this one, you can join ours. I can see y'all host of this show, the link to our page. You can join the group page. Really fun group page to be a part of. And we do podcasts every Saturday at 4 p.m.
That's right.
That's all I got.
That's right. That's cool.
That's all I heard.
Like to watch.
I do a separate podcast. I'll be doing a separate podcast on Tuesdays at 6. It's called The Blitz. It's going to be all the highlights and opinions from the weekend previous to football. It's strictly the scores and stuff like that. I do that from about 6 to 7 to 8, however long it takes for that to happen. And yeah.
All right. Great. I love it. I love having podcasters on. I love it when they plug their channels. I love it when they plug their shows because this community is about more of a brotherhood than it is about hating one another. Mm-hmm. There need to be less of that hate. If you want to crap talk. I'm good with that. But you know what? Don't do it on my podcast.
Right.
Because I want it to be about football. I love talking football. Like I said, I expect that 7-9 is right where we're going to end up at the end of the year. But to think we can't win 10, that's not an impossibility. It's always a probability, and you have to have a little bit of hopium with your fandom. I understand I need to see it on the field just like you. That's why I haven't gone all out. I've seen people saying 11 and 12 and 13 wins. That's way too much hopium for me to take in. That's an addiction problem. I have a 12-step program for you.
Hey, Jimmy, that's the Kool-Aid
Opium.
overfilling for him.
No,
That's right.
that's Kool-Aid overload.
Yeah, Kool-Aid overload.
That's when you're going on borderline Waco, Texas type of Kool-Aid drinking.
Hey,
Right.
if we did win 12 to 13 games, though, I'll have a
Oh.
stroke because that would be
We didn't even
amazing.
have Dan Campbell in the front office that we had. They used to try to go 11 and 12 wins. I'm like, dude, no, it's not happening.
And the only reason why Campbell got to 12 wins is because he had that Ferrari of a defense that Schwartz and Mayhew built that slowly got dismantled every year after that year. Between injuries and letting players walk away. If you're not going to man up, because what it would have taken, it was only $326,000 more that Sue got from Miami. But when you take in the fact they have no state income tax, that's a $1.1 million more than what the Lions offered. So you either had to pay him that $1.1 million more to make him want to stay, or you had to pay fairly. You can't let them both walk in the same year. That was the biggest travesty to me there ever was.
Sue was going to walk anyway.
I had a feeling he was going to walk, but if you're going to let him walk, you got to keep fairly.
Mhm.
Then if you trade for Haloti Ngata, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because Haloti Ngata was the run stuffer, eat up blockers type of guy that frees it up for everybody else. He was not a big pass rusher anymore because he's 31 when we got him, 32, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the same guy that he was the 5 years prior when he almost got to go to free agency. And I was like, the Lions should grab him now. We don't have to draft another one.
So who was Hutchinson going against?
I felt like
Lane
they're
Johnson?
not paying.
Well, they've been using him primarily at the 7 and 9 techniques. The same with him and Harris. They've been using him out of outside linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's either going to be going up against their left tackle or their right tackle. So will be hitting Lane Johnson or I know Austin Dillard is the backup at left tackle. He's hurt right now and out week 1. But the other guy, I can't remember his name because it's a newer player on the team. But either way, if they're swapping those guys out and they're applying the pressure from both sides, drawing double and triple teams, the guys in the middle might start to eat up a little bit more of that pressure. And that's what I've been trying to explain to people. It's not just Hutch and Harris together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There it is.
It helps the other guy.
That's him. That's
too.
the guy, Keegan. Thank you. I can't read it. I know it's Jordan.
Melita.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jordan,
that's him.
Him.
Yeah. And he's good. Don't get me
You
wrong.
want to know what else was a mistake?
What's that?
Letting Averill walk.
Cliff Averill?
Cliff Averill.
Cliff Averill was gone well before
Let him go to
Caldwell got
Seattle.
there. He was let walk by Mayhew, I think, 2 seasons prior to Caldwell getting here. Because we had Ziggy Ansah that year.
Yeah.
That was the rookie year for Ziggy Ansah. You know, the 28-year-old that looked 33.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can't trust those Ghana birth certificates.
The person that I thought, the two people I thought they should never let go was Golden Tate and Darius Slay. Should never let those two go. Darius Slay, especially.
Darius Slay, I especially agree with, but Golden Tate was 29, turning 30, and there was no way he was going to continue the production he was doing. Getting something for him instead of nothing was the right thing to do that year. Now, if you want to talk about Quandre Diggs, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. He's another guy, too.
Quandre Diggs and Darius Slay was the biggest things that hurt that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now, taking Okudah when we did would make much more sense if we had Darius Slay on the other side.
Exactly.
But, you know, that was Bob Quinn being Bob Quinn and going off script because Matt Patricia said in the interview just the day before the draft on NFL Network, I want either a defensive tackle or a linebacker. Which, you know what I heard? Derek Brown or Isaiah Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those made more sense at the time. Andrew, we know who you'd have taken because you basically threw a fit. We didn't take him, but anyways,
Yeah.
I either one.
Well, because I
if you look
also
at
knew
it,
we were taking Okuda.
we all knew we were taking Okuda because that's who Bob Quinn said he wanted, and the GM always wins. Look at what happened this year at Crapsonville. The owner wanted Hutchinson. All the scouts wanted either Ike Ekonwu or Evan Neal, and the GM wanted Trayvon Walker due to his fantastic upside and athleticism. Who won? The GM. You know why? The GM is who turns the card in.
Yeah, everybody should be used to that with Jerry Jones.
You're right.
And number two, Jacksonville wouldn't have Doug Peterson for a coach if they'd have got rid of Trevor Balke before the combine. They'd have had Byron Leftwich. Because Trevor Balke is why he didn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
He said, unless you get rid of that GM, I'm not coming.
Right.
Because Crapsonville does Crapsonville things in the draft.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The smartest pick they could have made, really, other than Hutchinson, was Evan Neal. In my opinion.
I was pretty disappointed with the fact that in the Lions draft, they didn't address the linebacker situation enough. I mean, I only got Rodrigo.
Yeah,
they had Nakobe Dean, like 3 or 4 picks. They could have got him.
I know. But the thing is AG even said it. He goes, my defense does not predicate around a dominant linebacker. My defense is about the trenches and about the secondary more than it is that. And kudos to Chase Lucas for making the roster, and everybody said he wouldn't make it. And I said, this guy's a leader, and there's something about him. I think he makes the team. I said that when we drafted him. The other, and Rodrigo,
Giants.
Rodrigo, he looks like he's the truth.
Yeah, we'll see.
And we will see, yes. But he looks like it. I mean, this defense didn't even show what AG wants to do for the most part. If you looked, it was a very vanilla. It looked more about everybody hitting their gaps than doing read and react this preseason. They were predicating on that attacking defense. Hit your gaps, fill the holes, and you'll make your stops. That's what they wanted to get them doing. And you notice, as the weeks progressed, it started happening. The running games weren't as effective for the Colts or for the Pittsburgh Steelers as I thought it would be. I thought for sure Najee Harris was going to run all over us, and he didn't.
Due to a very bad line.
Yeah.
You say what you want, but they still got to tackle him.
Yeah. You can't believe Swift was running all over Pittsburgh too.
We can't stop the run for shit. That's why we can't stop the run for nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys got a great pass defense, and that's why I see the Steelers struggling a little bit more than some of the other people did. I've heard some people predict the playoffs with that O-line being what it is, and the way I've seen all strings of that defense struggle with the run. I see some struggles coming this year for Pittsburgh. I'm not saying they're going to be. I still have them winning 8 games minimum.
I mean, we addressed the issues with the pieces we added in the offseason, but they just got to get a chemistry built with the lines. That's one of our weakest points was stopping the run. That's what we have to get back to. But that doesn't change the fact that how good Mike Tomlin is when it comes to coaching and making decisions when it's time to close out games. We do very well at. So I'm with you on the amount of games we're going to win, but I think it'll be more like 9, possibly 10.
Keegan Eckers. Can someone read that one for me?
The smartest decision that Jacksonville was firing was to make kick, and he wouldn't keep his hands to. Oh, it's on my.
That's the only smart thing they did in the past year.
Yeah,
only smart thing they did in the past year. But they needed O-line help. I know they got some with Brandon Sharif, and they gave the franchise tag to the other tackle, and then extended him because he was refusing to sign it.
Yeah.
So, but is that tackle that great? He didn't do so great last year. He was good. He was good, but he wasn't great. You know what I'm saying?
I see something you don't. Probably believe in him. Who knows?
Are you talking about the guy they keep putting the franchise tag on?
Yeah, Cam Robinson, I think his name is.
Cam Robinson, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
that's why I thought they were going to get an offensive tackle in the first round. I mean, their first pick, because either you're going to pay the guy to play that position, or you're going to get a new guy and get rid of Cam. So what are you guys going to do? See, that's what I hate that with franchises. They just don't know what the hell they're going to do, especially with Jacksonville. They got a talented team. They have a very good team. It's just if all the pieces will come together. In the cases, they're kind of like the Lions in that case. They just got to have the right coaching and the right players at the right time.
I hope Doug Peterson's it, but Doug Peterson looked like he was falling apart in Philly.
Yeah, well, that's Philly.
I know.
And then on top of that, the only thing different about that is, Sheila tends to let Campbell and everybody else run the team efficiently, and she just gives a couple of 2 cents with it, and she doesn't, she's like, hey, do what you got to do. We want to win this game. When you remove Ford from your name, that tells me a lot right there.
That's when she got my total thumbs up and straight up approval. As soon as I saw she legally removed the hyphenated name Ford, and it's just Sheila Hamp, not Sheila Ford Hamp anymore.
Right.
I was like, there we go. And then they said they're removing the WCF off the jerseys, whether it's this season or next season. That's going to be done. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Get that stigma off. The next best thing she could do is maybe change it to Firestone Field.
There you go. Right, get rid of the Fords, man.
The Detroit News Field, whatever. Do whatever they got to do, but get Ford off that thing.
The GM buy him because I'm not a big Ford person anyway. I said they found on the road dead. That's what the acronym stands for. Anyway.
I almost wish that the NFL would adopt what college is doing for bad calls. The whole skybox period, where automatically it's a call that comes in from a main look and says, hey, stop play right now. We're going to review this. Give them 30 seconds. We're not talking 5 minutes like it takes when the refs look underneath the hood or anything like that. 30 seconds. If they see it's wrong, fix it. I think that would fix a lot of things wrong. And then start to do the NBA penalty thing like they do for their coaches, their refs. Make them full-time employees, not these part-time guys that switch off and go from stadium to stadium and all this stuff. Make it full-time employees. Say, okay, you take care of Detroit's away games. You take care of this team's away games. And nobody is a homer pick to do the home games then. You see what I'm getting at there?
Right. Yeah. I got it.
Because I think that's the only way to keep it fair. The away team brings their refs there, but if they're being too homerish, the skybox is going to fix it. That's what I was getting at. And the only way Sheila could actually get the commissioner to actually get on board with this, she's got one thing that all she's got to do is talk to her brother that runs the motor company and say, hey, threaten to pull our $1.5 billion in sponsorships if they don't fix the ref issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when they'll listen, because that affects all 32 teams.
But see, if it was any other commissioner but Goodell, because Goodell's the devil, and
he turned it into the NFL, the no fun league.
Yeah, he might just say, okay, well, I'll just find somebody else because he thinks he's greedy enough, and the NFL is powerful enough they can get another sponsor, another car sponsor, and it really screw him up too because Goodell's one of those guys that, oh, you want to do something to me? Well, I'll do something to you. And then get GM on board, and then they'll be sponsoring all their games instead of Ford. So,
And Hatterhouse comes in and says, go Lions. And then Keegan Eckert has a nice long-winded one I know I won't read.
The worst owner in Detroit is Chris Ilitch.
Yeah, Mike's son.
Good riddance to the Fords. I'm waiting for the breaking news that Chris is stepping down or selling the team.
Yeah, that Tigers team has been a lot different since Mitch.
All I want is a GM from a competent GM tree. It doesn't have to be one of those top guys, but if it's one of their underlings that wants to move up, I'm good with it. Number 2, we need 3 consistent batters in that lineup added. 100%. Mm-hmm. If you look, there wasn't a single guy that batted more than 300 for any length of time other than Miggy.
Mm-hmm.
So You can't say it's bias. I said when we got him, I said that's the wrong pick. They should have got ponied up and got Correa because Correa is a more consistent hitter. He may not have the power numbers Baez has, but he's a more consistent hitter and a better player overall. I said he's a free swinger who's aggressive. He's going to have a lot of strikeouts. How many did he have this year so far? Isn't he close to 200 right now?
Yeah, it don't make
Or
a difference.
over?
They don't fire the GM, so
yeah, thank God. And Eric Sean says, "Hey guys, it's one of my good friends. Eric Sean's parents dealt with WJR and the whole conglomerate that dealt with Lions for years, and he was a big part of it." What does he say?
Hey, y'all, I got
Why are
to hop out for the night, bro.
Okay. Well, thank you, JC, for coming in. I appreciate it. And it's about ready for me to wrap up, but I got to pay my bills and talk about my sponsors. I got A1 Tire and Auto Repair, 3 locations to serve you. There is the one on Old Cucaulin in Cucaulin. We have the Genesee Street in Saginaw. And we also have Broadway, where I work, right here in Bay City. And then it's Mad Lab Custom Creations. If you're looking for a decent place to try and get some great signed memorabilia, he does sports breaks where you can get them at a reasonable price. Find him on Facebook. He also does custom paint jobs on your mini and full-size helmets, flames, drips, rips, all sorts of stuff. Contact him for pricing. It's Dan Leonard of Mad Lab Custom Creations. That being said, I want to say thank you to all my guests. I had Mike Crabtree. I tried to get a Bills fan in, but he had connectivity issues and never got in. That was Matt Belcher of the Bills. We had Dan Leonard of the Giants and also of Mad Lab Custom Creations. JC Day for the Steelers. We got Bastila here for the Lions. Andrew Merklinger for the Lions. And Mike Crabtree of the Ravens. Thank you, everybody, for dropping in. We also had Dave Harris for a minute, who's promoting what I'm doing starting Thursday nights this week. I am doing a post-game show for Let's Talk Sports Network with Tanner D of the Sports Buffoons and Carlos Chavez. We are going to be doing our analysis of the game. I'm going to give my hot and cold players every week from the Thursday night games, and that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That being said, this has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. You got any final thoughts there, Bastilla?
No, go Lions.
All right, I like that one. Andrew?
Go Lions. Let's beat the Eagles.
All right. And I'm going to end my show the way I always do. Just remember, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts from within you. This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B, and I am signing off. Thank you very much.